into a developed nation. I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology Meerut, deemed to be university, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies extends festival greetings for Shishur Sankrant in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Maghi Logri in Punjab, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh, Khichdi in Uttar Pradesh, Mahar Chakrat in Bihar and Jharkhand, Magh Bihu in Assam, Uttarayan in Gujarat and Rajasthan, Posh Changrati in West Bengal, Magar Changrati in Odisha, Mahar Changrati in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, Peda Pandua in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, Magara Changramana in Karnataka, Magara Vilaku in Kerala, Pongal in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. To all the participants from India and abroad who are attending today the national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. This webinar series is being hosted on every Thursday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Today is 14th January 2021. This webinar is on the topic, the role of technologies in mitigating crop risk. It's very important and it is timely topic on the day of Pongal, Makara Sankranti, Farmers' Day, Harvest Festival. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of Center of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, welcome our today's guest speaker, Mr. Nalin Rawal. He is Chief Executive Officer, NCML Agribusiness Consultants Private Limited, a 100% owned subsidiary of NCML, a Fairfax company located at Gurugram, Haryana. So far, under this webinar series, the university has organized 15 webinars on the topics, role of agricultural cooperative societies and e-governance, blockchain technology based fishery value chain, a self-contained village, a felt need of the day, spices informatics network value chain, land and a camera, a hammer pledged, treasure trove, smart hill agriculture, Mera mobile, Mera marketing, integrated mariculture, aquaponics, and precision agriculture. In short, MAPA biofarms for income revolution, smart tribal agriculture for optimizing value chain, digital agri-tech and industry perspective, land resources information system in India, present and road ahead, weather diseases technologies for increasing farm income, big data in smart farming, sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture, understanding market dynamics for increasing farm. Today is the 16th edition of this national webinar series, which will be addressed by a distinguished agribusiness expert of the country, Mr. Nalin Rawal, on the topic, role of technologies in mitigating crop risk. This lecture is coming after the webinar series talk, which was held on 7th January 2021 on the topic, understanding market dynamics for increasing farm income. Risk management as a pillar in agriculture and food security policies. Two big drivers of food demand. One is population, another is income. Both are on the rise. The world population is expected to reach 9.1 billion people by 2050, up from 7.4 billion in 2016. Based on current developments, experts predict dramatic changes in agriculture by 2050. By 2050, there will be a new generation of agriculturists doing farming. 30 years from now, sustainable business, mitigate risk, and improve efficiency at every stage of the value chain are to be understood and realized very effectively and very efficiently. Agriculture sector is the foundation of Indian economy. At present, agricultural livelihoods are being severely impacted world over as a result of anthropogenic global warming and climate change. India is a labor-intensive and subsistence-based agriculture sector is particularly vulnerable to this development. Climate change has both the direct and indirect effects on agriculture productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe drought, flooding, and changes in the geographical redistribution of pests and diseases. Indian agriculture confronts with its sheer complexity, inadequate factors of production, weather uncertainties, multiplicity of schemes, and multiplicity of institutions at the farm level. Indian farming community comprises of about 14 crore farmers, of which 85% farmers are small and marginal size operational holders. Farmer needs timely, location specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities to realize prices. This requires a robust national database on farmers with their assets and prevailing agrarian distress at the grassroots level. This will facilitate an effective modeling of their problems at grassroots level. Many national level programs, namely Digital India 2015, Make in India 2015, Skill India 2015, Startup India 2015, Stand Up India 2015, have faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, and that too at small and marginal farmers, except PM Kisan, direct transfer benefits. The risks in the agriculture sector are accentuated by a variety of factors, including natural calamities, uncertain weather conditions, variability in yields and prices, weak rural infrastructure, imperfect markets, and inadequate and suboptimal financial services. All these warrant an urgent need to better understand and manage the risk in the Indian agriculture. Agricultural risk management framework in India towards Atmanirbhar Kisan. One is government's direct initiative, such as agricultural credit, input subsidies, and calamity relief. Government's indirect initiatives are insurance mechanism covering crops, weather and livestock, and including micro insurance. Government and market-based approaches to mitigate price or income risk include minimum support price (MSP), farmer income insurance, a price stabilization fund, commodity markets, and contract farming. Crop insurance has been found the more effective way of helping farmers tide over unfavorable weather outcomes, besides reducing the financial burden on the farmer to make him Atmanirbhar Kisan. Government of India has operationalized Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana on 13th January 2016. Agricultural risk and uncertainties. Risk and uncertainties are inherent to agriculture. in economics, definitions of risk and uncertainty are different, and the distinction between the two is clearer. Frank Knight, the famous economist, established economic definitions of the term in his landmark book Risk, Uncertainty and Profit, published in 1921, as follows. Risk is present when future events occur with measurable probability. Risk is present when future events occur with measurable probability. Uncertainty is present when the likelihood of future events is indefinite or incalculable. Risk management involves choosing among alternatives that reduce financial effects that can result from such uncertainties. The most common sources of risk are weather, climate, disease, natural disaster, and market and environmental shocks. Other risks related to logistics, infrastructure, public policy, the political situations, and institutions. Some risks have become more severe due to the climate change and the volatility of food prices. As managing risk to stabilize farm income, there are basic sources of agricultural risk that should be addressed too: production risk, production technology risk, marketing risk, financial risk, institutional risk, and personal risk. Various tools and strategies are used to manage each of these risks. The uncertainties inherent in weather, yields, prices, and government policies, global markets, and other factors that impact farming can cause wide swings in farmer income. There are four main types of uncertainties experienced in agriculture. These types are yield uncertainty, price uncertainty, tenurial uncertainty, and uncertainty with respect to input price and qualities. Smallholder farmers may have difficulty in assessing and managing risk and fail to benefit from investment opportunities that could improve their farming businesses and strengthen household resilience. Farmers are often willing to accept higher risk to obtain higher incomes. Agricultural risk management is an innovative approach for improving the resilience of vulnerable rural households and leveraging finance and investment. Agricultural risk management allows farmers and businesses to be proactive and increases their capacity to assess, prepare for, absorb, and adapt to risk. The International Fund for Agriculture Development has coordinated a G20 initiative for assessing and managing agricultural risk in developing countries, is called Platform for Agricultural Risk Management. This works to make risk management as an integral part of agricultural policy and investment planning. It is labeled as PAR. PAR is Platform for Agricultural Risk Management. It is an international initiative. Innovations and technologies in agriculture. Innovations in agriculture, crop, animal, and fishery, with respect to input marketing, with respect to production system, with respect to output marketing. Value addition, logistic, agriculture value system, domestic export. Technologies in agriculture with respect to irrigated, rain-fed, and tribal, and so far agriculture technologies through precision farming technologies and digital technologies. So these are all the areas where the risk and uncertainties are available. One has to address to that. Mitigating risk so far, farmers can protect their crops. The world's food supply is dependent on farmers' ability to prevent pests, weeds, and diseases from destroying their crops. It is estimated that annual crop loss would double without the use of crop protection products. To make sure that the farmers have everything they needed to fight off pests, weeds, and diseases. The crop protection industry works hard to give farmers access to effective crop protection products. Before any crop protection products become available to farmers, technology providers make sure that these products are safe for users, consumers, and for the environment by adopting strict risk management and risk mitigation measures. Digital technologies for mitigating crop risk, Internet of Things, smart farming, precision farming, robotics and automation, vertical farming, biotech, drones and satellites, and big data and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence and e-leadership is essential for the farming communities. Agriculture is unstructured and semi-structured problem. Hence, artificial intelligence applications are immense in agriculture. About 14 crore farmers in India, they have to be, provided with necessary capacity building to assume the role of e-leadership at the farm level. Data is new raw material of the digital economy. Data is power. No data means no artificial intelligence solution. Poor data means poor artificial intelligence solution. For example, artificial intelligence and machine learning platform detects cropping pattern and predicts the future of crop, thus highlighting the associated risk and opportunities for agriculture stakeholders. Adoption of open insurance technologies in the similar way of open banking through UPI and open APIs such as Paytm, Google Pay, Beam, PhonePe, etc., etc. Towards the step towards Indian agriculture reforms, doubling farmers' income by 2022, report 2018. It talks about digital technology in agriculture, volume 12B, chapter 7, 8, 9, 10. Empowering the farmers through extension knowledge management in volume 11. The Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 committee report has suggested in its volume 12B strategic use of digital technology in farming system life cycle through 7 mission mode projects. I would like to quote the 7 mission mode project because they are directly involved in mitigating the risk in agricultural sector. Digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture through smart rainfed farming, smart irrigated farming, and smart tribal farming at the macro level. Digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions is a second, recommendation. And today's topic is very much relevant with respect to the second most recommendation of the doubling the farmers' income by 2022. This recommendation was made in the report submitted to the Government of India in 2018. Third is digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming for effective modeling. You have to have a data, raw data with respect to farmer and farm, and digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities, so as to mitigate the risk associated with agricultural value chain. Then comes digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness for management to farmers. Digitalized integrated land and water management per drop, more crop. And the last one is digitalized farm health management, which includes plant health, water health, soil health, animal health, and fishery health, and farmer health. All these sectors are risk, oriented, and this risk has to be, mitigated. And there are 3 farm laws enacted during 2020: Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act, Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act, and Essential Commodities Act. On December 17, 2020, the webinar series discussed on the topic weather decision technologies for increasing farm income, emphasized on forecasted weather information and agromet advisories. And they talked about combining artificial intelligence and weather technologies. And in the international webinar series on open source digital technologies toward self-reliant India, on December 12th, 2020, Dr. Arpita Mukherjee, professor at ICRIA, New Delhi, talked about that Atmanirbhar Abhiyan in agriculture should include digital infrastructure, facilitating predictive analytics, automated labeling, wearable technology, blockchain-based traceability value chain, AI-based analytics, IoT-based sensor, and chemical analysis. On 26 December, Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, IAS retired, former Chairman Competition Commission of India, and former Chairman, Secretary to the Government of India, and former Executive Director, World Bank, talked on technology investment in agriculture value chain role of foreign direct investment. Atmanirbhar Bharat. Modi's 5 I's to make India self-reliant. 5 I's are intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovations based on 5 pillars: economy, quantum jump; infrastructure that represents modern India; systems, 21st century technology drivers; vibrant demography; and demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. And the government also announced that Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan in agriculture with a booster of about rupees 1.5 lakh crore. And Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture is envisaged to achieve Atmanirbhar Kisan. Digital world, the rise of platform economy is emerging, and digital ecosystems are essential for digital transformation in the world. Application of big data, new algorithms, and cloud computing is changing the nature of work and the structure of economy. Smart farming is the future of agriculture, which will facilitate digital platform economy in agriculture sector. Smart risk management is what needed. It will be the component of smart farming. Let us now turn to today's talk by the guest speaker, Shri Nalin Rawal, on the topic, the role of technologies for mitigating crop risk. This talk follows the talk by Mr. Sant Gautam, titled Understanding Market Dynamics for Increasing Farm Income on 7th January 2021. Very relevant talk today. This topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching over the telecast through facebook.com/Soviet University India or youtube.com/Soviet University in for establishing agri-tech startups in farm as a business, which can be more than 6,500 agri startups, one per block, or even about 2.25 lakhs agri startups, one per each Gram Panchayat. Because today's talk will generate that much interest among the rural youths and educated agriculture science graduate and graduate engineers. We are moving towards digitalized platform economy in agriculture, as Digital India is the way of life as envisioned by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. Let me introduce Shri Nalin Rawal, our guest speaker today. Mr. Nalin Rawal is an agribusiness professional having 24 plus years of experience in agriculture risk management, exports and imports of agro commodities and agri inputs marketing. He is a graduate in agriculture and animal husbandry from GP Path University of Agriculture and Technology, Patnagar, Uttarakhand, and he's done his business management program from IMT Ghaziabad. Mr. Nalin Rawal has worked at various strategic positions in reputed Indian and multinational companies such as Rallis, Tata, Chambal Fertilizers, KK Birla, Reliance Retail, British Petroleum UK, Aztec New Zealand, SkyMet Weather, and National Collateral Management Services Limited, NCML. Currently, Mr. Nalin Rawal is the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of NCML Agribusiness Consultants Private Limited, a 100% owned subsidiary of NCML, a Fairfax company. Agriculture Business Consultant Private Limited is a technology-led agribusiness company working in pre and post-harvest agriculture commodity risk and agri-value chain management. Mr. Nalin Rawal's core competencies include crop and weather risk management through integration of various technologies as remote sensing, IoT, artificial intelligence and agriculture space, new business development, establishing marketing network, brand management, market linkages, strategic tie-ups, and exports and imports of agro products. Nalin Rawal has worked extensively in Indian rural markets and established innovative crop forecasting and risk models and sales through CRM. He has successfully demonstrated profitable sales model of fruits and vegetables in mandis by corporate. He was instrumental in initiating innovative business models in retail cold chain and distributed energy through biomass in India. Mr. Nalin Rawal is also actively associated with Agribusiness Forum and colleges where he is a regular visiting and guest faculty. Mr. Nalin Rawal, we are very glad to invite you to address the August gathering of the National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture, on the topic Role of Technologies in Mitigating Crop Risk on the very important day of the Harvest Festival of India. Over to Mr. Nalin Rawal.
Thank you, Professor Moni, for giving such an elaborate introduction of mine and initiating the talks and setting up the pace for this particular session. And what Professor Moni has briefed in last 20-25 minutes, this is very relevant. Actually, he has made my work easy because he has already classified what are the risks as an Indian agriculture we are facing as a country, as a farmers. So the three major risks which has been deliberated upon are the number one is the weather risk, price risk, and other institutional risk, which is which Indian agriculture is currently facing. So, shall I put my share my presentation, if you allow me?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I will do that. I hope the presentation is visible.
Visible, yes, that's true.
Oh, thanks. So the today's topic of mine is role of technologies in mitigating crop risk. So as a country, if we see the risk profiling, because there are two types of risk, one are controllable, other is uncontrollable risk. So the uncontrollable risk in agriculture is the weather. And but this weather patterns is itself is changing, and India's risk profile with respect to particular climate change and the weather, it is also changing. So if we have noticed how the India risk profile is changing in last 30 years and projected to be in next 30 years. So what we are seeing is there is an increase in temperature of 0.51 degree. This is actually noted from the data set from 1901 to 2007. And it is projected in next decade, it will grow at the pace reached from 2 to 4 degrees. Means the whole there is a global warming, which we are talking about. Now, global warming, it's fine, it's the mean temperature. So if we see the mean temperature, there's a mean temperature means maximum and minimum. There's a mean temperature rises by 20.2 degree. But more, if we see the mean means it's the average of minimum and maximum. But if we see the data sets, what we found is it's the minimum temperature which is rising. So once minimum temperature rises, then it affects a lot of cross pollination and fruit setting and a lot of things. So there are a lot of implications of even a 0.1 to 0.2 degree rise in temperature on the varietal Indian on the agriculture, and that too of different varieties in crops. Now, if we see, another risk is sea level is Indian Ocean is rising by 1.63 mm per year. During 1993 to 2009, it has been observed. Data sets are available. One day, extreme rainfalls events are increasing. Like you have seen Chennai rains, Mumbai rains, in a day 400, 500, 800 mm rains. Deglaciation in Himalayas, our glacier, our wealth, our natural wealth of glaciers, it's under threat. Now, what we are also seeing is there is an increased rainfall in West Coast, North AP, and Northwest India, while rainfall activity is decreasing in East MP and adjoining areas. Like if you see, normally in Northwest India, for example, say Rajasthan used to have a lot of droughts and there was always a risk. But in last 20 years, what we are seeing, the data sets, risk in Rajasthan with respect to crop, it's decreasing. However, in East MP side, which used to be having a good rainfall, looking at a good rainfall, now the rainfall activity is decreasing in East MP side. Now, we have also seen frequency of cyclones during post-monsoon season is projected to be much higher than baseline scenario. Means if you see after post-monsoon, after September, we are seeing every year, we experience there are a lot of cyclones which are hitting Indian coast. Recently also there were 2 cyclones. Every year if you see, so this activity of post-monsoon cyclones, it's increasing. So this is how the India risk is profile is changing. Now what we have done, we have tried to dig in the data sets and try to find how actually this monsoon variability and lot of other things is affecting the Indian agriculture. So if what we have taken, we have analyzed the data sets of for last 147 years, means 1871 to 2017. And what we have found that out of these 19 were major flood years, means there was a excess rainfall years, and drought occurs since 26 years. So if you see India map on the left hand side, we have made a graph change in annual rainfall, means total quantum of rainfall received by a particular district. This is a district map which is overlaid on the India map, and then green, blue, red, and a neutral color, it shows the average change in rainfall pattern. So if we see, from 1961 to 1990 data sets we have taken, and we have predicted 2021 to 2050 how India will look like. So in all these blue areas, there is a change in, means 5% more rainfall, total quantum of rainfall will be observed in these all areas. And red, it will decrease less than 5%, -5%, and -5 to -5, these are neutral percentage. Now, if you see the right hand side, change in number of rainy days, although the quantum is changing, means quantum of rainfall is as a whole country it will increase. However, change in number of rainy days, if we see, then they are decreasing. Means most of the India is -5 to -5 to +5, and less than -5, if you see, a lot of pockets have developed. So what does it entails? What it means regarding to crop, that annual rainfall pattern is increasing. However, number of rainy days is decreasing. So what we will experience as a country, or experiencing as a country, if we analyze data of last 7, 8 years and 10 years, that total quantum is increasing, but rainy days is decreasing. Means more rainfall in less days. And this has caused there's an increased crop risk because of this pattern, change in pattern. Now, another statistics we have taken from past and try to analyze. In past 50 years, 22, if we have just decreased the number of years. So in last 50 years, we have analyzed 22 were good monsoon years. How we define good monsoon years, where rainfall activity remained between 101 to 109%. Now, during good monsoon, out of 650 districts, if we have analyzed, then 30% of the geographies are still at a risk of drought or flood. Means even if as a country we say it's a good monsoon years, normal monsoon years, we feel happy about it. However, during those periods also, 30% of Indian districts, they face risk of either drought or excessive rains. Now, we have tried to do some more analysis. On the left hand side, if you see change in incidence of dry spells. Dry spells means once rain happens and then there's a dry period. So change in, if we have tried to map in India, dry spells means there is no rainfall in more than 14 days time. From last 30 years data, we are trying to predict for next 30 years. So what we are seeing that dry spell areas is increasing in all these red areas, no change, and are decreasing. So if we see west side, the risk is decreasing on this dry spell side, where earlier Rajasthan, Gujarat, all these areas were very risky, while other countries change. Now, there is also change in event with more than 100 mm rainfall in 3 consecutive days. Actually, it is very dangerous for crops. Anywhere, if 100 mm rainfall happens in 3 consecutive days, so it's dangerous for crop. So what we see, number of rainy days is decreasing, quantum is increasing. So India, more risk will be happening because of this unpredictable rainfall pattern, means more rain in less time, which will convert into increasing crop risk. Then India is a rainfall risk or a drought risk. If I put it the India, then India is also prone to cyclone risk. So all the coastal area, eastern side, is prone to high to very high proneness towards cyclone risk. Then this is a flood proneness risk, where the flash floods also and river floods also, most of the areas. Then this is a drought proneness risk. So India is largely prone to more of a drought risk. So these are the 3 weather risks which India is prone to. Now, with this unpredictable or say weather risk, there is another risk which happens, like soil condition and its water holding capacity. If it's a sandy soil, even if you put a lot of rains, water will not hold, and there's a water holding capacity, changing pattern of rainfall and temperatures, risk of drought, excessive rain. Then what if the status of underground water, how the underground water is getting depleted? Then we are also considered farmer progressiveness, looking at how the farmer is able to cope up with this risk. Then also the market risk, means agriculture market. So once we have tried to club all these algorithms together and then classify, then as a district-wise exposure, means in looking at last 30 years data, how next 30 years data, how the risk will be spreading across different districts of India. So this is a map that shows that. So if anybody is interested, we can have a detailed discussion later. So this is how the India risk profile is changing. So now, as Professor Moni has already introduced me, and so I will take a minute to introduce my company, what we are doing to, and our efforts, what efforts we are doing to manage this risk for Indian farmers, and how the new business models are also coming up for the startups as well as companies who is working in. So, so our company is a 100-owned subsidiary of NCML. And in NCML, the major shareholding is of Fairfax, Canada. And other NCML shareholders are Hafed, Punjab National Bank, Bank of India, Indian Bank, and Corporation Bank. So as a company, we are into largely into agriculture risk management. Pre-harvest is what we do in AGCON. Along with it, we deal in post-harvest risk management. We work in warehousing. We are one of the largest warehousing service providers in India. We are into supply chain. We have got largest NABL accredited dedicated labs for agri and food testing in India. Then we have got collateral management. Then we are into NCML Finance, which is a NBFC, which helps in funding against commodities. Then Market Yard is an e-market platform where we provide linkages, forward linkages and backward linkages to the companies and procurement from farmers. So if we integrate all these services, so we are India's largest integrated weather, agri, and commodity risk management company. So as an operational presence, we are working in 28 states and 2 union territories across India. We have got a network of 4,500 automatic weather station network pan-India basis. I will talk some more details about it. Then we have got in-house GIS and remote sensing and data analytics team, where we have got a full team sitting in Hyderabad, where we do remote sensing and using remote sensing and different technologies for agriculture, which I will be sharing. Then we also work on, we have price intelligence network in 2,500 mandis across Pan India, where we are providing a lot of market intelligence services and price intelligence services, how the prices is happening in different mandis, how the market will move, whether it will go up prices or it will go down. So all that part we work. And we also daily monitor around 340 commodities across Pan India. And as a company, we have got a team of 2,000 plus experienced manpower. So this is an automatic weather station. If you see, this is a machine which is run on a solar power. So this, all these dots which you are seeing, this is our network. These are the automatic weather stations which we have established as a company. And each weather station on hourly basis keeps on giving us data sets on 5 primary parameters, means precipitation or rainfall, temperature, humidity, wind speed, and wind direction. Along with this, we are working on different projects where additional sensors we have put, like solar radiation, pressure sensors, soil moisture, soil temperature, leaf wetness. There are hundreds plus sensors which we are working with to monitor different growth parameters of the crops and other activities. So this is our network. So the technology-led solutions which we are providing to the industry and the farmers is the weather services. Weather services means one is the live weather services, what is happening at hourly you can get. And also we are trying to integrate with our weather services the forecast. Forecast means a short-term forecast, largely a 7 days forecast and 3 days forecast. Then we have got working with remote sensing and satellite-based crop acreage estimation. This is one of the, whenever we talk about why the prices are going up, whether prices will go up, down. So the basic fundamental difference in India is we don't exactly understand how much production is likely to be. Although numbers come, but there's a lot of variability in those numbers. So if there's a numbers which comes from government, then there's a numbers which come from trade, there is a numbers which come from different sources. So there's no reliability in those numbers. And in past we have seen there's even a 30 to 40% difference in the acreages and the production. So here we use remote sensing based technologies for identifying crop acreages. I will show you how exactly we do that. Then we also monitor crops based on satellite and drones, doing crop monitoring and then working on the production forecasting, how much production is likely to be. Then once we have a production number, then we also work on the demand side, and we have a team where we work on commodity research and price forecasting. Then we also work on farm advisories. We try to cover two types of the risk for the farmers. First is the crop advice, weather and crop advisory risk. Then looking at the market, how the prices is going to be. So those are also we try to give advices to farmers as well as largely to the trade members. And then agribusiness and agri-value chain consulting. So this is all what we do. And in these solutions, we integrate our automatic weather station, remote sensing, drones, big analytics, data analytics, and AI. And how we are doing, I will demonstrate few of those things over here. So this is a machine which I have already discussed. So what happens? There is these are largely GPS and GPRS based machines. So data keeps on accumulating in this data logger. And data logger, it is GPS, it is pumped to our server. It's a central cloud server. And from cloud server, there is a QC team who are the trained agro-meteorologists who scan the data, check the quality of the data and authenticity of the data by different checks and balances. And then we provide a certified weather data. So this is how these machines work. And these machines keep on working because it is solar powered. So even the battery is such that even if there is no cloud, so for 20 days, it will keep on sending the data sets. And within that period, we come to know what is the sitting remotely. We know what is the battery level of each of the weather station. And then our service engineers go and do maintenance or change of battery if there is a cloud cover for more than 20 days. So we replace the battery and do other maintenance functions. So this is a live weather data network we have. We provide certified weather data. We provide 7 days, 15 days weather forecast, weather alerts. And what we have derived is we have pan India 30 years if we have divided the whole country into 25 kilometer by 25 kilometer. So we have prepared a data set or time series data sets on the weather, means weather largely temperature and rainfall. Then weather risk analytics we do and weather based crop risk assessment. So these all we work on weather services. Then we work on the acreage estimation, as I was saying earlier. We use a lot of GIS and remote sensing based acreage estimations. Means if this photograph you see, this is a Khagaria district, and we have tried to map what is the corn acreage in 2015 and 2016. So if you see in 2015, whatever these green dots are there, this is the area which is planted under maize. While 2016, again the same thing. So if you can see, so there is a visible difference. This is a visible difference that 2016 area has increased. But with this and our analytics, we can even tell at a village level which area, how much area is increased, how much hectare area is increased. So we use this technology in crop acreage estimation at village and taluka level. Then second is current year acreage versus last year. If I even sitting now, if I want to know, okay, this year, this is the acreage, how was it last year? Because what happens, satellites keep on passing from each coordinates based on their orbit. Somewhere it passes 2 times in a day, once in a day, twice a week. So they have got their own orbits, and each point is covered based on the orbit by different satellites. So in past year, if we have to know in Khagaria how was the crop last year, so we want to have a imagery of Khagaria for last year. So we go back and work out, see when the satellite has passed, which satellite has passed, and we procure those images, and then our team work on it. It can also work. Also, let us also through technology we can also differentiate how much is early sowing, normal sowing, or late sown crop. How much area is under there? If maize is there, if you see in Khagaria or say Bihar, so there is a early raise. One crop is sown only October, November. Then there is a January crop. Then there is a Garma crop which is sown after March, after taking potato and other crop. So in order to know how much area is shifted, how much area is under early or normal or late, we use this technology. We also work on the age of plantations, because in horticulture, what happens if there is a tree, it's a tree. So looking at the picture from satellite, it becomes very difficult to identify what is the age of a plantation, because your production in orchard or plantation crop is largely dependent on the age. So there are technology which we use to do that. I will show you one example how this technology work. So this is a Punjab map. In mid-June, we have taken an imagery. So whatever green area, this is actually a black, what you are seeing is the water, is a canal, main canal. So whatever green area you are seeing in this image, this is the area where paddy is transplanted in mid-June. Then we have taken another image in first week of July. So whichever red area you are seeing, it is the area under paddy in first week or during first week of July. Then during end of July, this yellow area is the area where paddy is sown. Now, if I merge all these three pictures into one, then you can easily see all these green belt you are seeing. It is the early transplanted rice. Then red is a normal transplanted area, and this yellow one is the late. So how this information make a business sense? Because anything which we do should make a business sense. So in this, how it works, if for example,
Mr. Rawal.
So there is some disturbance from Alisa's side. Maybe he'll join soon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let us wait. You. I request the participants to please stay. There is some technical issue in the network. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Sorry, sorry. I think somehow I don't know the internet or something.
okay, fine. You start from that crop acreage.
Crop acreage. Okay, I will do that. I was on crop acreage, right? Is it from this place?
Next,
Right?
next. Okay, yeah, this one. Before that,
Okay.
you were
Okay.
talking about that last slide.
This one.
Yes, last one. After merging. No, before that.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Before,
So okay.
you are
Sorry, there's
merging all the
some.
three. Yeah, red,
Yeah.
yellow,
Okay.
and
So after merging, if we see, so sorry for the inconvenience. So looking at this, once we merge these particular areas like red, green, and yellow, so we can find out how much area is under which crop. Means if you see green, these are the early sown crop, red is the normal sown, and yellow is the late sown crop. Now, how this particular set of information can make a business sense? That is what I was discussing. So if we see, if for example, if there is an agri input company who want to introduce a early hybrid in paddy, or say hybrids or late hybrid, in that case they want to know how much area is there, how many acreage will it make a business sense, how much area will be there, and lot of questions are there. So so by virtue of this they will be able to know how much area is there, what is the gross potential for their variety, and where exactly they have to sell this variety. So look, those decision making can be done based on this data sets. And similarly, if there is a rice processor and they want to do some forward contract for export of basmati from India. So based on this set of information, they can find out, for example, there's a variety 1121, how much it is sown. So based on the information, it can be worked out how much acreage it is sown, and based on that, how much production is likely to be coming. And then based on the information, forward contracts for export of basmati can be done. So lot of information, it is a single technological information which gives you almost 90% accuracy. And with 90 plus percent accuracy, you can, the decisions you make, it will be good for business, good for the country. Even as a country, you can make decisions out of it. How if they want to do some intervention for the exports of basmati or for the, so those type of decisions can be done. Now, there is a second set of information or example I was sharing with you all, how this technology can help in the plantation crops. Normally, if this is the palm plantation in East Godavari, which we did one project. So in 2016, this is they want to know how much acreage, because government has been doing a lot of plantation activities for palm. So how much the palm, like there's a record that in this year, this much plantation has happened. Second year, this much plantation has happened. Third year, this much plantation has happened. So they want to know what is the status of a plantation. So in 2016, for example, if this is a particular field, so we go and we take the satellite image. So this is how the plant look like from almost 500 kilometers above with the high resolution images. It looks like this. Now, as the satellites keep on passing from the same lat long every based on different orbits, so we go back to 2015 and take another satellite image. Then the same plantation in the same coordinates look like this. Then in 2014, we go a year back, it looks like this. So if I have not included 2013, because that at that point of time in 2013, if you see, then you will see a flat land. So by virtue of this, we can work out how much acreage in a particular area is of what age. And once we know the age of any plantation, then we can work out how much production is likely to become. This we did in pilots in Nasik area for grapes also, where we were able to identify how much acreage is, how much plantations is 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years, 4 years old. So a lot of, so through satellites and all, you can work out a strategy for Indian farmers, for policymakers, and for different businesses as well. So it also looks like this. This is again a 15 plantation here. It is visible 2014, 2013, and before plantation. How does it look like? This is the actual case study we did for a particular bank for financing a crop. It is for date palm plantation in Kutch in Gujarat. This was a pilot. They wanted to finance this crop and wanted to validate how much, what is the age of a plantation. So this type of technologies through remote sensing can be used for many different businesses. Now, once we know how much acreage is there, now the basic question is how much yield is going to come. Yield is an important factor for identifying the production. If you work for an insurance factor, it is the yield or is a factor on which the payouts has to be done. So the whole crop monitoring is done, and then yield forecasting. In India, no one model actually can give you desirable results. So what we have done, we have tried to merge 4 type of things. One is the weather, which we already work. Technology means all remote sensing and UAV technology. Then field validations, because in India, conditions are different because we have got small farmers, diversified crops. So a lot of challenges are there. So field validation is must for Indian to get a desirable result. Then based on that, we are working with advanced models which are working on machine learning algorithms and other things to work on what is the how the yield can be forecasted. So I will give you some example how exactly we do this. And then I will also give you a run of last season, how exactly we did it in soybean crop. So if, for example, if I am a corn trader and I want to monitor corn in Kharif. So if you see all these highlighted districts, these are the districts which contributes to almost 90% of the total Kharif corn. So if I'm interested in a corn crop, I have to, so anything happening in these districts will affect my yield of corn and the production. So for all these districts, say 96 districts, they contribute to 73% of my corn acreages of Kharif. So I keep on monitoring these 96 districts, and anything going up and down will have an impact on supply side of the corn crop. Then what we do is there's three approaches we do. So production actually is a function of acreage multiplied by yield. So acreage we do validate by remote sensing, but we also look at how was the last year commodity price, what is the crop choice, is farmer changing a cropping crop this time of monsoon onset. This is very important, because if you see in a particular area, if monsoon is on time, say in Rajasthan, in southwest Rajasthan, if you see, if monsoon is on time, normally or early to normal time, the people, they go for a cotton. If it is delayed, then they go for a bajra in the same crop. And then if it is further delayed, they will put sesame. And even if it is delayed, there is no rains after that, then they will leave the field blank, empty. So they have a choice of three crops, but the acreages will depend on the time of monsoon arrival. So that is how India, in rain-fed agriculture, people decide what time the rain is going to come. And why do they leave the fallow after, say, third is passed? Because they want to go for cumin. Cumin farmers, cumin growing. That is the cash crop over there. So looking at that, in each geography, you see the time of monsoon's onset is very important for farmers to take on decision which crop to sow. Special incentives given by government, industry, farmer progressiveness. So these all factors we compile along with what is the ground reality it's happening in acreages, and then we also validate through remote sensing. Then yield again is a function of agroclimatic zone, meteorology, rainfall, sunshine, because there are four factors which affects the yield. One is the meteorological factors, rainfall, temperature, sunshine. These are the three major factors which affects the crop growth. Then soil type, irrigated land or unirrigated, source of irrigation is very important actually. Now in India, what happens? We largely talk about irrigated or unirrigated land. But if you see in the irrigated land, 80% of the area of irrigated land, actually it is a partially irrigated. What do you mean by partially irrigated? For example, in North Rajasthan, say Ganganagar area or Hanumangarh area, which is largely dependent on canal irrigation, is somehow the canal is stopped. There is insufficient water in the reservoirs. So first casualty is the agriculture, then industry, then human. So they limit the water for agriculture. So your irrigated land, which was by canal, will turn into a partially irrigated or a unirrigated land. That is one. Now same thing happens for, say, open wells. We have got
Mr. Nalin.
Yeah.
Mr. Nalin, there is
yes,
some
sir.
disturbance. It seems to be very moved to the Wi-Fi router. I think the internet seems to be unstable.
Okay.
You are using Wi-Fi or?
I am using Wi-Fi.
Move very near to that Wi-Fi. That will be that. Okay, fine. Carry on.
Okay. If voice change, because there might be some issues here.
Carry on.
Is it fine now?
Now it's all right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I am saying. So in India, there is a source of irrigation also changes. And in well, what happens in well system? And there is a well irrigated and unirrigated. So there is an open well and there is a tube well. Open wells are the wells where during the rainfall water get accumulated, and then it can be drawn by any power, mechanical or a animal power for irrigation of land. So normally one well has got a capacity of irrigating 3 to 4 acres of land, or 4 to 5 acres of land, or 3 to 4 times based on the soil type. If there's no rain again, and there's no refilling of the recharging of those wells, then the same land will become unirrigated land. So that is the risk we don't understand. So looking at those point, we work out a model for yield, then acreages versus field. We come to the production. So here we are using a statistical model, farmer survey, and agri input dealer survey to reach yield and acreage estimations and crop production estimates. Now, this is a normal methodology, but same thing, in order to validate for larger area, we use satellites for LAI, we call it leaf area index, NDVI, which is a normative differential vegetative index, biomass index. So this also we do monitor through satellites. So crop risk and monitoring because is the production forecasting. So normally this is our strategy. We work on the first is the agriculture infrastructure of an area, like irrigation and unirrigation, topography, soil type, which normally doesn't change. Then we work on the monitoring weather. Means we keep on monitoring for the whole season on fortnightly basis. We keep on monitoring temperature, rainfall, sunshine, wet and dry spells. Then the same thing we monitor through remote sensing and drones. In remote sensing and drones, we use NDVI, normal differential vegetative index, LAI, biomass through radar, and soil moisture. We monitor through satellite indices. Then these inputs go into a statistical model, and then they go for a field validation. And finally, the output which comes, it is it's a very good forecast which we have experienced in last 4 or 5 years when we are developing, because we are still in the developmental phase. But our accuracy is quite acceptable to the industry and our clients. So this is the ongoing research process which we are working. Now, infrastructure, rainfall, reservoir, soil moisture, NDVI, and crop risk metrics. So even if you want to know the sowing pattern, you understand sowing doesn't happen in a single day across district also, or in a state. So we use multiple imagery, like 15th to 30th June. This is the sowing area. There was no sowing. July 1st to 15th, this green area is the area which is sown. Then 15 to 30th. So you can see every 15 days how the area sown is progressing. How this is important for working on the production numbers. In agriculture, most or everything starts from day 0 when the crop is planted. So if my day 0 is changing, so my production which will be coming for the crop which is sown here will be different than the crop which is sown over here after 15 days. So that's why we have to work on the factors, how much area was sown at what time point of time, and it will tantamount to how much yield. So that is our starting point for monitoring the crop. Each 15 days it will behave differently. If there is a huge rainfall event at say August 1st to 15th, then the crop which was sown between July 1st to 15th will have a different impact than the one which is 15 to 30th, or the crop which is sown in a week before. So this is how we do that. Then every fortnightly we keep on doing crop growth analysis. Crop growth means how the crop is looking current year. Then we see how it was the crop at this, if say 15 July 2020 crop is like this, how the crop was in 15 July 2019. So like to like comparison can be done. Then third part we do of a last 10 years, how the crop was in last 10 years average condition. So these is the 3 growth curves which keeps on going up and down. And every fortnightly we monitor how the crop look like this current year, last year, and average. Crop health, spatial distribution of the crop health year on year and month on month basis. Then we also work on technical analysis like NDVI, leaf area, biomass from radar. So different models we use. So crop monitoring and health monitoring is being done throughout the season once the crop is sown till harvesting. Even sometimes because of our requirement, we have tried to monitor individual farms. So once we zoom in the satellites, see the satellites actually, they have a beauty. I mean, you can go to even there are spy satellites which go up to even a 1 centimeter resolution. That's sitting 500 kilometers away. You can see what's happening into 1 inch or a 1 centimeter. So anything movement, you can capture that at any given point of time. But in agriculture, the same technology, which is spy technology or army technology or whatever you can say. So it's the same technology we use in monitoring Indian farms and agriculture. So this is, say, April 19th, this particular field look like this. Then we have taken another satellite, 15, the same farm look like this. May 27th, June, every 15 days, July. So so because with you can see only the greenness actually by virtue of this changing in dynamics. But once we run the same models through our high processing computers and processing capabilities with the right numbers, so we can work out how the crop is doing in which field, what is the stage, how the crop is doing. And when we spread the areas, this technology into larger area, this is a small area. Based on the findings or the sample from this area, we spread it into larger area. Then it gives us a very good result. How much area is in the whole district or a taluka is under stress or doing good, say good, bad, or normal. If we try to work on these three classifications, then we can easily say, okay, this is the area which is transplanted 1 lakh hectare. Out of 1 lakh hectare, say 10% area, 10,000 hectares is under below normal. 80% is normal, and this is above normal. So based on different parameters, we keep on monitoring. And finally, we integrate all these things like LAI, NDVI or biomass plus field validation. So after all these technologies and models, they integrate to give us a yield. And this yield, once we multiply with the remote sensing based acreages, they convert to a beautiful numbers or a numbers which we call it a production numbers, based on which the whole economy works. And finally, when the crop is ready to harvest, some actual crop cutting experiments is also done in order to validate how much actual yield it is coming. There is a norms which we do through Android based application to reach the final yield numbers and production estimates. So this is how we do. So I will show you one example of in 2019 we monitored soybean crop. So how we did it, so that you can have an actual feel what I am saying, whatever actually I have told you, actually this is the things which we are actually doing for our different clients, for government, for different our stakeholders. So if we say soybean, if we monitor 50 districts, these 50 districts contribute to 90% of the production in India. And 94% of the area under soybean is rainfed. This is how the soybean crop look like. Now, in these districts, every fortnight, we keep on seeing how the rainfall pattern is changing, because it is a rain-fed crop. So there is a direct impact of rain on this particular crop. In June, it was a dry. Then July, then there was August, was a excess rain. Then September, and then this is a cumulative. So this is how it behaved every fortnightly. Then we try to work also rainfall pattern on soybean crop. So in July first fortnight, July second fortnight, August, every fortnight, if you see, you can find out soybean districts which were under high risk. Means how we define high risk in soybean. If 140 mm rainfall happens in any 3 consecutive days, then that crop in that particular area will go into risk. Based on these parameters, we have analyzed that in July 1st, only 12% districts were under risk. July 2nd fortnight, 14. Suddenly, there were a very huge rainfall last year, last year actually, in August fortnight. So 36% went into risk. Then there was a lull, 16%. Then another wet spell came in September 1st when the crop was ready to harvest. So which has impacted the crop. Then our team goes in these districts. These are all 50 districts where our team has gone and collected the GPS points. These all yellow spots are the GPS points, we call it. So they have taken these images. Why these GPS points are taken? This helps in getting the GPS signatures for remote sensing. Because how this technology works, we have to train our people, go on the ground and go to the field, take a picture, take a lat long, and put up a GPS signature. Okay, this all are the soybean area. Now every crop has got a different normalized differential vegetative index. Means the reflectance of a particular band, say, because it's an infrared band which is sensitive to chlorophyll. So once the optical light is thrown by a satellite, it reflects back. So it is the infrared band which reflects. And based on this infrared band, each crop has got a different reflectance. Like cotton will have a different reflectance, soybean will have a different reflectance. So based on this reflectance, we convert into NDVI and give us a range. This is the maize crop signatures, these are the cotton, or this is the soybean. And based on those signatures, once they are normalized, based on normalization factor, this is distributed across different areas. So this is in a nutshell. I don't want to go into deep into how exactly this technology works. If anyone is interested, please do get in touch. We will share some more basic papers. So our team has gone and collected all these pictures. Now, if it is a Vidisha again, Vidisha, this is how the rainfall pattern has been. Then through satellites, we have worked out how the soil moisture status change. From second fortnight of June, July, means all 3 months crop, every fortnightly we have monitored how the soil moisture is been there. Like 2019, if you see, first fortnight, second fortnight. So there is a sudden rise in the 2019. Then in the same period, how was the temperature or say, how was the soil moisture last year? And how much was the average? So these three graphs, say first fortnight, what we see, it is 21.8. Last year's, it was less than last year of 32.3, but it was normal. And last 10 years average for the first fortnight of July was 33.2. So if you see, crop was doing very good up till July. Then suddenly from July second fortnight, there was the increased rainfall activity and sustained increase in rainfall activity, which has actually damaged the crop. So in second fortnight, July, first fortnight, there was an excess rainfall. Even July, second fortnight was excess. Again, August, it was excess. And also means whole season, it was such a heavy rainfall was witnessed by Vidisha that 70% of the crop was damaged in this particular district. Then based on this soil moisture, we also work on the NDVI. NDVI, the picture which I have shown you in my earlier slide, where we are changing the pictures. So this is how we read that file. So every fortnightly, we keep on taking the pictures. These are NDVI. Finally, the NDVI is converted into a graph like this, how the NDVI is changing from first fortnight of June to last year and versus last 10 years. So how the NDVI has changed every fortnightly, we keep on monitoring this. Now for Vidisha, again, we have, this is the GPS points. Our field team has gone and visited and taken the actual crop. These all pictures are time and time stamped with lat long. Based on that microwave satellite image, because there was a crowd, because now what happens, there is another challenge in satellites. There are two types of satellites. One is the optical, other is microwave. Now in optical, what happens, satellite, they throw the light and through reflectance only they capture how much they reflect and capture the pictures from them. During the cloud cover, these rays, they cannot pass through the cloud. So optical satellites we cannot use much in during Kharif period when there is a lot of cloud cover. So then there are another satellites like Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2. They uses microwaves which actually penetrates through the clouds and then get back to the satellite through which the readings are taken. So based on different these microwave satellite image, we have tried to classify the soybean crop. And what we have seen that that this is the government acreages, how much government is saying, and actually how much remote sensing, how much was the acreage. So this differential factor is very important to work on the delta, how the crop is going to be in reference to last year. So now, this is the earlier slide. We did everything to cover this field validation. Then the same thing is work on these models. So what we have seen in Vidisha district, soybean, if you see this last green, this is my weeks. Every June 1 to September 1st, these are the weeks. And out of these are the different phases which we are shown. This is sowing phase, germination phase, different phases. So what does it showing? Normal sowing phase, germination phase, flowering phase, and maturity. This is my 2018, how the rainfall is there in this red one, and 2019, it is the current year rainfall. So what we have seen, and the gray one is for last 30 years rainfall in Vidisha district. So actual rainfall, if you see, there was after this July 4th week, there was a continuous very heavy rainfall, which is experienced by Vidisha, to the tune of 150 mm and above 200 mm. Now, what we have done is, we have taken last 10 years data sets and tried to make a model. So, and based on this, we found in Vidisha rainfall effect on the soybean crop. Like this is a sowing phase, germination phase. So once we have taken last 10 years data sets and we have mapped these particular areas are the years when there was a good rainfall pattern, there was a good yield, and this is the year which is in the average yield or bad yield. So this green line shows these are the rainfall pattern in different phases of crop cycle in Vidisha when there was a good yields. And red is the area, red is the rainfall pattern for the years where there was a bad yield. So what we found during vegetative stage, if rainfall is up to 300%, it is good for the crop. But if it crosses during this phase above 300, then the crop goes into risk. Similarly, during pod formation stage, if rainfall is below this particular point, then it will convert the yield into a bad yield. So it's not the total rainfall which affects the crop. It is the distribution of a rainfall for a particular crop in a particular geography which affects the production. So those models we have made. So now our endeavor is as the key, we only have to keep, because other factors are more or less stable in soybean. Rainfall is one of the important factor. So we keep on adding these factors, and automatically the model will keep on. It's a dynamic model which will keep on giving us the production forecast. So this is how we did for soybean. I mean, this is the live examples. This is also a live example for flood monitoring. Same technology we used for quota through microwave satellites. This was the rainfall pattern in 2019. So we were asked to work out how much area. There was a lot of river flooding in Kota, and there was a lot of hue and cry from farmers and different bodies that there was a flood and all. So we have tried to find there. This is the first time we have used optical satellite image. Optical satellite image means whatever this green, white you are seeing, these are the clouds, and through these clouds you cannot see what's happening on the ground. So we have taken a different. This is the Landsat images we have taken. This is how it looked like through an optical satellite. Then this is a combination of 8th to 18th August. We have taken different Sentinel-2, which can actually pass through the clouds. We have mosaic them based on the availability. If in a one particular image, if some part is cloud, then we mosaic and cut that part where land is visible. So after doing this mosaicing, we have created a map for quota. 30 from multiple imagery. Was 13 to 25, we have taken multiple imageries from different satellites. And finally, this is the actual map of quota, different talukas, and this was how the crop looked like. Based on that, we have identified in each taluka how much area, geographical area is this much, how much is the flood area, how much area is actually affected by flood. Then in floods also there is a two type of possibility. Once there is a flood, after 3 days the water recedes down. So once it comes down, the crop becomes much better actually. So we have also find how much is the flood area and how much is the low flood area, and how much is the actual area which is affected. So this is how the technologies can help in managing risk. Otherwise, in floods, you cannot walk in the field because of flood. So this is where all these technologies become very handy. Like this is the satellite image. We also use drones to fly and monitor the crops and areas. So now coming to farmer risk management services, as I told and as Professor Moni has also talked, there are three major parts where farmers are facing risk. One is the weather risk. So weather you cannot change, but yes, if you can tune yourself or your activities to the nature, if you know, then you can accommodate the risk. You cannot go away with the risk as such. So here we use live weather data, village level short-term forecast, and taluka level medium-term forecasts, weather forecast. So once these are available to the farmers, they can act accordingly. Second is, once this weather is there, we know, then we can work on the good advisories or agro advisories. Crop advisories, plot level and crop level advisories. Optimizing crop operations, pest forecasting models. So lot of possibility of developing these models. And currently, if you see some other countries, even in India, what I have seen, that people pay for advisory. Normally, like for if you go to a doctor or a CA, you have to give for his services. If a dog you go to and visit a doctor if you have a sore throat or any other problem. Similarly, in other countries and even in India, I have seen largely in plantation crops where as an expert he goes, he's paid for these services. But agromet advisories, farmers are not yet prepared. Or farming community is not paying. People normally complain that they don't pay for the advisory, not because it is the quality of advisory. Because if something goes wrong, doctor take that responsibility. If I have advised you something, if it doesn't work, then it is my responsibility. So that the same thing happens with the plantation crop when an expert go. But when we give a generic advisory, it doesn't work. So our whole agromet advisory should be in such a way that there has to be onus on a person. If he is giving an advisory, then he should be accountable and responsible for the advisory he is giving. It is not his job that only give a advisory. So these things are possible now, giving a plot level advisory by coming of these different technologies, IoTs and other things. So crop and pest forecasting, because we have been working on this particular, and we know there is a lot of scope in India for different startups, and a lot of startups are also there in this place. So this is how the agromet advisories can be given. Then third part is the market price risk. Whether should I hold, whether the prices will go up, which is the mandi where what is the prevailing prices. So a lot of things are there. So price intelligence based on referral markets and price outlook, short and medium term, it also helps in farmers in taking right decision and mitigating risk. So this is actually what we do is the market intelligence. Like I told, we are working with 2,500 mandis, whatever 340 commodities. Then price forecasting we do, portfolio risk management we do, how the mandi, how the markets are going to play. So end-to-end services we provide as a agri value chain consulting services. And that's all from my side.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nalin Rawal, for your very fantastic and very knowledge-based address on the topic of the role of technology for mitigating various risk associated with the crop. And it is a professorial address, and this is a very important address to the audience through the platform of the Soviet University, Institute of Engineering Technology. Please stay for the address of the Honorable Chancellor, Shri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra. Let me introduce the Honorable Chancellor to the audience. I welcome the Honorable Chancellor of the Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, deemed to be University. Shri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra is the co-founder and Chancellor of Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, a NAC accredited deemed to be University, and Soviet University, Gango, Uttar Pradesh. He is a prominent social entrepreneur based in New Delhi and carries leadership roles in many organizations. He has been nominated as the co-chairman of National Council on Education of ASSOCHAM, the oldest apex chamber of commerce in India. Shri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra is a persistent advocate of initiatives for education for all, secular values, crisis management through diplomatic and peaceful ways, and globalized system of learning and harmonious coexistence. He has been instrumental in the development of a number of higher education institutions in North India, including 2 universities, many research centers, an Ayurvedic Medical College and College of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences, and a 100-bed Ayush hospital. He is also instrumental in establishing 4 very important centers of excellence, namely Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatic Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application. This is the first private university having these centers of excellence for promoting technology, among the rural youths. He has very actively involved with a number of social organizations. Acknowledging his contribution in the areas of education and other concern, he has been copiously honored and awarded. He has traveled widely in India and abroad to the countries like United States of America, United Kingdom, Germany, Australia, Russia, China, South Korea, Vietnam, Mongolia, United Arab Emirates, and Mauritius, Rwanda, Uganda, and Croatia, etc., to participate in various professional, social, and educational activities. Shri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra is a passionate Gandhian, avid reader, keen learner, social speaker, occasional poet, and a dreamer. We welcome the Honorable Chancellor to address the National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022. For the last 1.5 hours, we had very important, emotional, inspirational address by Nalin Rawal, who is a distinguished agribusiness expert, having more than 25 years of experience on the topic, which should generate and galvanize interest among the rural youth to establish agri-tech in the area in which he has talked on mitigation of agricultural risk. Agricultural risk management is a very important area for farmers concerned. Over to the Honorable Chancellor, Shri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra, for his address.
Thank you very much, Professor Moni. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me congratulate Mr. Nalin Rawal for a wonderful, very informative presentation about the risk in agriculture, role of technologies, and what his company is doing to ensure that farmers can double their income by 2022. I congratulate Professor Moni also, because when Honorable Prime Minister few years back spoke about his vision, his aspiration that we have to work together to double the income of farmers, there were very few those who believed in his words. Everybody was waiting for somebody to work in that direction and see how it is possible. But I am happy that Professor Moni was among those few ones, those who decided to work in that direction to make it possible. And it is only possible when industry, academia, farmers, scientists, businessmen, technocrats, bureaucrats, researchers, and people like Mr. Nalin Rawal, they work together for the cause, which is one of the biggest cause of the nation today. Today's topic, role of technologies in mitigating crop risk. So much has been told in last 90 minutes by Mr. Rawal. I was looking for some details, as I am not an expert on the subject. So some alarming data is there which everybody is aware, and maybe I will like to share again, that by 2050 global food systems will need to sustainable feed more than 9 billion people while providing economic opportunities in both rural and urban communities. Yet our food systems are falling far short of these goals. We all know that. About 795 million people, or say every ninth person, is undernourished, with the majority living in developing countries and rural areas. And they may be living in India too. And they are the generally people, those who are dependent on agriculture. Now, with existing technologies, we can address all the four dimensions of food security. Like if I look at genetic modification methods of improving soil fertility, irrigation technologies, they can increase food availability. Food harvest and agro processing technologies, they can address food accessibility. Biofortification can make food more nutritious, and climate smart solutions anchored in science, technology, and innovation, including the use of precision agriculture and early warning systems, can mitigate food instability. New and emerging technologies, including synthetic biology, artificial intelligence, and tissue engineering, may have potential implication for the future of crop and livestock agriculture. So there is a possibility, and I am happy that a lot of companies in India and abroad, they are working in this direction. But a systematic transformation is needed at an unprecedented speed and scale. At the same time as fourth industrial revolution is driving disruptive technology innovation across many sectors, agriculture and food systems have been slow to benefit from these developments. The sector lags significantly behind in harnessing the power of technology and making it widely accessible. So now, to keep with the market challenges and demands, agriculture tech companies must find a way to leverage next generation technologies, analytics, and blockchain to modernize rapidly. The major challenges, we all know that resource constraints are there, collaboration, we are not able to do much with buyers and growers or farmers. Complex supply chains are there in rural areas, especially if we look at rapid changing markets are there. Traceability is a big issue. Financial risk and compliance is an issue. Cost management, these all are issues are there. So now we have to do one thing, that agriculture companies really need speed and agility to sustain and thrive in volatile markets of the day. The need of the hour is comprehensive solution suite that meets all the commodity trading, risk management, and supply chain requirements. So these are the things which is very important, and I am happy that in today's discussion, many of these things in presentation they were addressed, and especially a focus on climate challenges was there, which is very important indeed. I believe that when we talk about any technology, when we talk about solutions, we need to focus on three aspects, which is very important in technology. One, that technology needs to be accessible by often resource poor, small and marginal farmers, especially in a country like India. Two, it should help increase productivity by a growing population, keeping in mind limitations of land and water resource availabilities. And three, technology should enable and better manage resource utilization from agriculture production to prevent climate change and all those challenges. The role of state is there. We all know, we all talk about the country has to do that. The state should do, the government should do. But the role of institutions, universities, and private sector is very important to improve smallholder access to technology. Because if we look at today, what is the challenge with technology? We have so many things coming up. I was listening to Mr. Rawal's presentation also. So much you people are doing using all those modern technologies, right? From artificial intelligence to satellite images and everything, whatever is possible. But what is very important for me, the USP of a technology in agriculture sector is one, availability of the technology. That availability has to be for all. Like when we were talking about green revolution technologies in past, they were scale neutral. It was not like that if there is a scale there, only they will be there. So availability has to be there. Then affordability is very important. Many times when we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about many other things around. We have to see that if it is affordable to every people or not. Adaptability is a big challenge. Because many of our technologies, we need a scientist to adopt that for a farmer, which is practically not possible. That everywhere somebody will be there who will find and who will adopt it and who will apply it for a farmer. And accessibility of the technology is very important, and scalability of the technology. I believe that these 5 important factors. In India, we have so many startups, so many wonderful companies, so many global players, those who want to come and contribute in the development. But what is happening that in these 5 parameters, some parameters everybody is missing somewhere. And that's why this challenge is coming, that we are not able to reach to right to the problem. We are at the root of the problem. Every time we are talking about in webinars, seminars, presentation, conferences, everything is happening. Right from a webinar like of Shobhit University today to maybe a presentation to Niti Aayog. We all are doing a lot of things. But when I go to a farmer and I ask him how I can solve your problem, so he says, भाई साहब जो भी प्रॉब्लम है, जो भी सॉल्यूशन आप बता रहे हैं, ऐसा लाना जो मेरी समझ में आ जाए, जिसे मैं अफोर्ड कर सकूं, जिसे मैं अप्लाई कर सकूं, उसे ऑपरेट कर सकूं, और जिसे मैं जरूरत पे छोटा बना सकूं और जरूरत होने पे बड़ा कर सकूं। ऐसी चीज मत ले आना, हाथी मत ले आना जिसका खाना ही इतना महंगा हो कि हाथी बांध तो लूं, लेकिन वो हाथी मुझे ही खा जाए। So that challenge has to be seen, and I am sure that the company of Mr. Rawal is working in this direction, and as you are a agribusiness consultant and a tech company, so definitely these parameters you must be looking after in India also, because I always say anybody who is willing to develop a technology, anybody who is working in technology, they should visit minimum 2 places. One, they must go to the deepest and interior area of the country to meet the farmers. And farmers, the marginal farmers, the smallest farmer, we should ask him what is his pain. And 2, they should visit to agriculture institutions, colleges, departments, and universities to see if what they are teaching and what you are willing to create and what is the problem of the farmer, if there is a bridge or not. And I am sure that this exercise of the day, it will give a reason to us to discuss on that, to deliberate on it, and to think about it further. So thank you very much, Mr. Rawal. And I am sure that with the university, your company, you as an individual, will be in position to develop some synergy. Let us work together and let us have some micro certifications, maybe in your technology for the students, for the university. Okay, maybe a few hours, maybe of a week, where we can discuss it, we can share it, because with the student, they are the actual people, those who will disseminate your knowledge, your technology to the right world. So thank you very much. There seems to be some sound coming from the background of my office because it is Makar Sankranti. People are celebrating. Pongal has been celebrated. So I wish everybody today is an auspicious day, that let us have a good start with the full light, energy, and power of the sun, who is changing its direction today. God bless us all. Let us find a right direction for the development of our farmers, for the growth of our farmers, and for the country at large. Thank you very much.
Namaste. So thank you very much for your very inspirational and promotional address to the audience. And you, as the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, and also the as a farmer, you spoke from your heart the need of the technology-based, mitigation of crop risk very effectively, and also said it that in order to connect with the farmers, it is necessary to develop the human resources effectively, efficiently at the grassroots level through micro certification program. They also very nicely said it that collaboration between academic institutions of higher education and also the companies like Mr. Nalin Rawal's company, who are doing very important job. The presentation, he very nicely said it, how they are doing technology based research for crop estimation, acreage estimation, and then converting into production estimate, and also providing advisories at the farm level, village level, and taluk level. And unfortunately, there are a lot of startups are taking place in in output segment, but not much agrotech startups are taking place during the production stage. And this production stage is more important. You have given almost like it's like you talk like a senior professor in the area of remote sensing technology and data modeling, comprising all aspects of data science, with practical examples. And I'm very happy to see I also transmitted the pictures of your screen to the Honorable Chancellor. It has given a real impact if we want to help the farmers through the advisories, which is also the second most priority recommendation of the doubling the farmers' income by 2022 report, agromet advisories and agriculture risk management. And today you talked about it, is that to how to operationalize the recommendation of the doubling the farmers' income through the research efforts, through by clubbing the ground to truthing, and also ground to truthing with respect to crop specific district wise, and also remote sensing and near sensing. And this is a very important operational technology adopted, and rightly said it by the Honorable Chancellor that the farmer should know it should be affordable technology. And you also Mr. Nalin, I'm very happy, even though we know each other for more than 2 decades, and you have done a right job today. And you also rated for, and the service has to be a quality service. You also cautioned when the doctor can be paid for the service advice he gives to the patient, and the farmer also is ready to pay, charges for the advisory if the advisory is a quality one. And in other countries are being done it. I think this is where the Center of Excellence of Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Government Research Studies and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies of the Soviet University, can play a leading role by joining and aligning and cooperating with the institutions like yours, industry like yours, who are all completely technology based. You are doing that is not only sitting in an AC room, you are doing a very comprehensive data science and technology with more than 2,500 field level staff and hardcore technologists interpreting technology images, technology based images analysis by applying operation research methods and statistical methods and computer technique, artificial intelligence, and so on and so forth. We are very happy that today we are able to hear and listen to the address by a very experienced experts from the agricultural value chain subject. It's a very important lecture. We thank you from our heart for your very meaningful and knowledgeable address. And we would like to work together to establish umpteen number of agri startups in the area in which your company is working on through the Soviet Institute of Engineering and Technology, at least in the state of Uttar Pradesh. We thank you for your address, and I also thank the Honorable Chancellor for giving his valedictory remarks. As usual, he always give a very way forward as to, he always suggests what should be the actionable plans to be operationalized. Thank you very much, and we thank all the participants of this important webinar today on the important day of Mahar Sankranti and Pongal and Mahara Vilakku and Bihu and Lori. It is a great Indian festival, and we are celebrating this important festival on behalf of the farmers and for the farmers, through our knowledge, exposition. Thank you very much. This is what an academic institution of the caliber of Soviet Institute of Engineering is doing it. Thanks for your participation. Greeting from Soviet University. And for more research inquiries, please contact Professor Moni Malaswamy, Professor Emeritus and Chairman, Center for Agricultural Informatics and Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, and former Director General, National Informatics Center, Government of India, New Delhi. And please send your inquiries to the email address moni@sovietuniversity.ac.in. We close the seminar and leave studio. Thank you.